Well, we not only talk about the key success factors, we will have a quick look back to the trade I've sent around. Was it on Friday last week, I think? A trade from Thursday, I believe, last week, pound yen short. And we're going to look at it, how it developed, and actually following that, like today, there were a couple of more trades with this currency pair, well, just in the opposite direction long, right? And on different time frames as well. It gives you a good idea of how trading Forex and patterns, how trading patterns in the Forex market actually works. Well, then we've got a Q&A session, and in the end, I'm going to make a special workshop package offer for the upcoming Forex workshop that starts in 10 days, Wednesday the 8th. So let's have a look here at the 12 key success factors. Well, it's kind of strange, right, that there are these key success factors, or as I see it, working with about 1,000 traders so far, but 95% of traders out there actually do not follow those. If trading were easy, everybody would do it, right? It's kind of something nice that Jules told in one of his testimonials. If it were easy, everybody would do it. Well, not everybody is doing it, right? So it cannot be that easy as it seems. So the key success factors, it's not about sitting in front of the screen for many hours per day, right? The best traders here in the master's class, well, they spend like on average 2 hours per day full-time trading the markets, 2 hours per day, and it could be even less depending on what you will actually want to achieve. It's not about having the goal, your trading goal, to maximize your R result of the week. That is not a good goal at all, right? To get to as many R's as you can get. This is not how you make money trading the markets. It's not about trading the markets right away and trades whatever moves, right? Jumping the gun. It's not about getting euphoric and emotional when trading the market. So it's not about this all, right? But 95% of traders actually do that. So let's have a look now at the first key success factor. Well, I guess it's obvious. I just have to put it here because many traders do not trade with the system. They just trade and trying to make money, right? So I guess that's a cornerstone of all, to have a system or better systems with an edge. Now, the second key success factor is having a clear trading goal, right? Even if you have a trading goal, it might not be a good goal. And I mean, many of these things, either it's my own experience, right, or working with other traders. Well, this is my own experience. I started out trading, like full-time trading the markets, with having a stretch goal, right? So a stretch goal is, I think I had like 15 R per week, right? Well, that's a stretch goal. You don't achieve that like on every week. And so the consistency of achieving that week is low. But what you actually want to have, you want to have a low goal, right? Which is kind of a relatively low-hanging fruit. Let's call it like that. And then achieve that consistently, right? So it's not about how many R's you make the goal. Well, the goal actually is consistency, because when you achieve consistency, well, then you can increase your position sizing, right? And you make money not with the number of R's you make. Well, you make the money when you increase your position size, but you can only increase it when you have achieved consistency, right? So we talk about talking about consistency, well, we talk about a weekly R goal or a monthly R goal. And the low-hanging, like a good goal is 2 R per week, right? Or 5 R per month. I mean, 2 R per week, if you make the calculation, well, that's well above 100% per year, right? It doesn't seem a lot, 2 R. And we don't say this is the goal and then you stop, right? I mean, this is a minimum R goal, 2 R or more, and with consistency. 3 out of 4 weeks, if you achieve that goal, well, then you're consistent, and then you can actually start to put money on the table and to increase the position size. These are great goals. Otherwise, stretch goals, they only lead to gambling, right? To over trading and shooting for the goal like on Thursday, and you might then lose everything and end up with a losing week. So that's a big mistake, right? Going for stretch goals. What is the next key success factor? Well, apply useful beliefs that support your trading. Now, useful beliefs. We have many beliefs that are very useful for business, right, in life. But trading is something different than business, right? So many useful business beliefs are very non-useful for trading, right? So one useful belief, for example, to have in trading is one good trade per week is enough, right? So let's have a bit deeper look into that, because it has several aspects to it, right? So it says one good trade, right? If you really believe in that, well, you don't need to take many trades, right? Because that's one of the traps of being a trader, that you think you have to take trades, right? Or you have to take many trades, or you have to trade every pattern that comes up for the week. And if you miss one, well, you're a failure. Well, that doesn't matter at all, right? Actually, one good trade, if you get one good trade per week, that is enough. And one good trade, well, it gives you a 2-hour result, right? And with enough, that's interesting too, because, for example, if you have no trading goal at all, right? Well, it is never enough, right? It could always be more. So it has some sense of being grateful and being happy, right? One good trade per week is enough. Because frustration is kind of is a very toxic thing, right? Frustration builds up in a trader, and then at some point of time, well, we do stupid things in the market, right? So that's a very good belief. In the last video I had sent out on that went out with the blast to this webinar, well, it was about this, right? About this good belief, useful belief. Next one, establish an appropriate mental state for trading. Your mental state for trading surely is very different from a good mental state in business that makes you successful in business, right? And in trading, we have to separate, like, are you developing as a trader? Well, you need a different mental state. Or when you have already become a mature trader, well, then you're in a different then you need a different mental state too. So as you're developing as a trader, you want to have a mental state of being playful and being clunky, and that it is just fine, right? Having fun with being playful and clunky as you develop as a trader. Because perfectionism, well, it doesn't help at all, right? Well, with trading in general. Now, as you have matured as a trader, and now you really want to make money and get consistency and put money on the table, well, then you want to have a mental state of being cool, calm, and confident. That's kind of the best description I've found so far. Like cool, basically indifferent, right? Not euphoric, not emotional, cool, calm, and confident. Well, confidence, it's kind of, without confidence, it's very difficult to make money consistently. Next key success factor number 5 is to follow the trader development path. Well, there's a very certain trader development path traders go through, right? No matter if it's a novice or an experienced trader. And well, you want to be aware of that. I've talked several times about the trader development path, and we're going to share a playlist on trader development at the end of the webinar, and I explain that a little bit more. But it's basically about following the trader development path and making one step at a time, not trying to be perfect, right, immediately. So that means, for example, if you learn a new system, it's not about jumping into the live market and trying to trade the system, right? Well, maybe even putting money on the table. Well, that's a recipe for disaster, right? So step by step, there are many little steps, but basically the overall steps is, well, you start with simulation, right? With simulation technology, simulation software. Then you go with the demo account, and then you go with the real trading, real money trading account. Within each of these, I mean, there are many different development steps, right? You should go through, and some are easier, and some will take you more time. Key success factor number 6 is to actually apply effective trader tools. So very effective tools is the simulation technology. Like 15 years ago, that was not available, right? With my trading buddies back then, well, we couldn't do that. We were demo trading the market side. But with simulation technology, well, you can speed up, right, time. You can go back, you can stop, you can redo. This is very powerful. And this is how you learn to trade and execute without mistakes trading systems. This is how you build very quickly a lot of experience, right, with the system you trade, whatever system. Now, I'm a big fan of the concepts of deep practice, and that's basically based on making one step at a time, slowing down and making one step at a time, and then integrating all those learned steps. So slowing down is actually speeding up. Otherwise, we would not achieve consistent traders within very few months. So simulation technology and the concepts of deep practice, well, that's basically the tool. These are turbocharger tools, right? And this is how everybody can learn to trade in well less than a year. Next, key success factor 7, being part of a committed trader group. So a like-minded trader group that are trading the same systems. That is gold, right? That is very valuable. I didn't know about that, but when I started to do my first group mentoring, coming with the students from the workshop a couple of years ago, I actually understood immediately, wow, a group is very important. A group helps everybody, right? You can learn from each other's mistakes. You can learn from successes of somebody else, right? From ahas. And it's a great motivation, and developing as a trader, no matter if you're a novice or an experienced trader. I mean, we have something we call the boom and bust cycle, right? You will fall into a resistance dip, right, which is an emotional dip. And it's really important to have others who can help you out, who you can share this bust cycle with, right? So it's for support and motivation. And another key success factor, well, that's part of deep practice. Well, it's a coach, right, that can guide you to what mistakes have been done. Deep practice is learning from small failures, learning from mistakes. Key success factor number 8 is you need to define your personal trading game. And it's basically making up the rules, your own rules to win the game. So trading, right? Nobody forces you to trade on a given day. Nobody forces you to take a trade or not. Nobody forces you how much money you put on the table, or if you do. Trading is really nice because you can make up your game, right? When you're a sportsman, when there's a competition, well, you cannot say, hey, wait a moment, I want to start like 30 minutes later. Well, no, right? Well, or you cannot say, hey, no, I don't want to play this tennis match. I'll do it the next time. Well, then you're out, right? So it's a peak performance activity trading, but you are in control, right? In full control, actually. Nobody forces you anything. However, in reality, most traders are getting chased around by the market, right? So they're not in control at all. The market controls them. And this needs to be changed, right? If you want to become an independent trader. So an independent trader is basically further down the line when you're already successful and you're fully capitalizing on your personal trading game. What are your goals? How do you trade? I mean, do you have a full-time job? Are you part-time? Are you full-time at home? Do you have, I mean, do you want to minimize the time you spend in front of the screen? Do you want to maximize your R result? What is your trading game, right? Number 9, develop your trader strategy that fits your trading game. So a trader strategy is basically when you have achieved your weekly R goal, right? Well, what comes next, right? Well, you need to know, because the weekly R goal is kind of the minimum goal. You could be just fine with that and call it a week, right? Well, that could be on Tuesday, you're done, right? Achieving 2 R per week, let's say. Then you call it a week, mission accomplished. Or you can say, hey, now I've got 3 or 4 R. My job now is to secure that, right? So with a 4R, you can say, well, I allow myself to have 2 losing trades in a row now. If I get back to 2R, I stop trading for the week. But I want to be open to more. And you can develop your trader strategy as you want, right? Then you can go for 8R, for 10R, and you can trail it up, right? You don't want to lose more than, I don't know, 3R. And then you can basically, if you want, go for the moon as well for the week, right? We have traders that make more than 100 Rs per week, repeatedly applying this strategy. But it's all based on the minimum R goal consistently. That's kind of the cornerstone of everything. Then you can put real money, and then you make money with increasing your position size, not maximizing the R result per week, because the market gives and takes, right? You never know if that's the week where you have 20 trades, or if it's a week that is very quiet and you might have no trade at all, or only 1 or 2 or 3 trades. Number 10, develop your chart reading and intuitive system skills. So chart reading is a basic trader skill. Whatever system you trade, like whenever I look at charts, you need to develop that skill. And that's especially for the novices who do not have a lot of experience with chart reading. If you're already trading other systems, and if you have already looked at charts quite a bit, well, you have that skill, right? But it's very important. The other thing is, even if you are very experienced, right, and you have a lot of chart reading skills, or with whatever new system you are learning, you have to build intuition with that system. And I get once in a while a very experienced trader, for example, a market maker in a bank, right, who's trading the markets all the day, all the year, and who's got a lot of intuition with what he is doing. But if you learn a new system, well, that's something completely new, right? You can only build intuition with a system, well, if you have the experience under your belt, right? You have to take like 100 trades in order to develop that experience. And typically, well, that takes like 2-3 months, right, down the line after learning a system, that the intuition comes in. Well, intuition should help you in your trading results, right? And in the beginning, well, you have to be very cautious, and you should actually follow the standard rules very closely without applying much intuition. And later, with more experience, well, intuition will actually help you. The systems I teach are rule-based discretionary systems, right? So there is some aspect of discretion, and you can either minimize that, right, or you can allow for more discretion, but then you need to have developed intuitive system skills, right? Next one is follow a regular meditation practice. I see that a lot, right? When I see somebody has developed really quickly on his trader development path, no matter novice or experienced trader, it's always that this person has practiced meditation in the past, right? Or has started early on to practice meditation. It somehow, I don't know, opens the mind, brings down the chatter, right? And it brings you into a relaxed mental state. Well, being cool, calm, and confident, that's a very relaxed mental state, right? And with meditation practice, well, what is sufficient is 5 minutes per day, maybe 20 minutes per day. That's absolutely sufficient, right? And if you have never meditated, well, you want to start slow, right? I actually can recommend you this website, zen12.com. It starts very slow, and it helps you get into a regular meditation practice. Actually, Sarah has posted a link here. Number 3 is apply useful beliefs, right? Sarah has posted a link in the chat because a couple of months ago, I've put together an e-learning course on beliefs. I think it's very interesting, and you might want to have a look at it. You get it for $50 and you get the link. The importance of beliefs for trading. Number 12, the last one is, it's really important that you as a trader, you follow your passion and you become a happy person. Like I've never met a successful trader who is not happy, right? Good trading is boring, but it should be fun to you as well. And this is important. And well, for that, Van has put together a happiness test. And maybe Sarah, if you have the link, it's a free happiness test, and you can actually see, okay, how well are you with a 12 success factor? How happy as a person are you already? If you're looking success in the markets, but you're not happy with your life, well, it might not be that easy, right? Because you get out of the market with the mental state you get in, right? If you get to your trading desk with a mental state of anger or fear, well, the feedback you get from the market is exactly that. You will get even more anger and more fear, right? So you have to be really careful. Like the market is like a mirror. So following your passion and becoming a happy person, a happy trader, well, it basically means that, well, it opens the heart, right? And then confidence can flower. And this is important to get into this mental state, right? Of being cool, calm, and confident. Since I've communicated my vision and my mission about a year ago, and it seems to be another success factor, things have really moved quite a bit with the groups I'm mentoring. So my vision is to establish the world's trader hotbed #1, and the mission is to develop successful trader talent. So successful in the meaning of that they become consistent, right, achieving their weekly or monthly R goal within less than a year. Some can do that in a year, some do it in 6 months or even 4 months, and for some it takes longer, right? It doesn't really matter. I mean, 1 year in trading, it's no time, right? And this is not a race. Everybody's on his own learning path, and it's basically my mission, right? It shouldn't be your goal. So let's see here in the chat. Okay, something doesn't seem to work with the link. We'll check that. You find it as well on the Benthal website under e-courses, the e-course on beliefs. Okay, any questions so far?
And I'll clarify that it was the happiness test link that didn't work. Okay. So I'm going to find a good one and I'll post that.
All right. Okay. Let's open it up for questions. I mean, this is how 95% of traders trade and think, right? This is completely different. And this comes from either my own experience or working with many traders. Now, what is your response to that? Did any of that push your buttons? Was anything of that new to you? Did it trigger an aha? Okay. The one good trade was an aha for you, Jürgen, I guess. Okay. Doug wants to tell me to talk more about the trader group. Okay, Doug opened my eyes to what I have not done. So that means a lot of ahas, right? Okay. Thomas is asking what to do to accomplish number 12. Well, number 12 is following your passion and become a happy person. Well, happiness is basically comes from your consciousness level, right? You want to increase in your consciousness level. Well, how do you do that? Well, you do that with a regular meditation practice, but the main thing is basically using on your beliefs, right? If you let go a non-useful belief that is charged, that is charged with an emotion, well, it's a problem, right? Because the emotion keeps the unuseful belief, the non-useful belief in place. So you want to let go of the charge first, and then you can release that stuck emotion. And this is how basically you increase in consciousness. And the more you let go, right, of these stuck emotions, which is basically toxic, right, emotional toxic waste, well, the more healthier and the more happier that you will become, the more balanced, right, and the more quiet and the cooler and the calmer and the more confident. Well, following your passion is, well, that you do what you actually like and not what you do because you think you have to do or whatever other reason. Right, so there are many questions now. Okay, Prashant is saying he's not able to hold a winning trade. I'm not sure what you mean, if it's the exit algorithm of your trade or if you, after winning trade, have a couple of losers. That's quite typical too, right? How do you prioritize amongst 20 trading ideas? Yeah, trying to prioritize is not a good idea, but that puts you under stress, right? If you have 20 trade opportunities, well, it doesn't make a lot of sense to look at all of them and then in the end you try to select what is the best one. Well, it's better to have a minimum level of quality you require for your trade, right? And the first trade that reaches your quality criteria, well, that's what you take. You don't need to analyze 20. If of those 20 opportunities, you go through the first 5 and the 5th has sufficient quality, well, that's what you take. Okay, GBPJPY is asking as a novice where to start and about the meditation website. Well, it's in my, it's on the slide, zen12.com. Where to start? Well, I recommend to start with my workshop and the systems I teach. Right. Okay. Right. Anis is putting down, sometimes I wonder if it's worth putting all the hard work and my psychology lose my account. Well, hard work includes working on your psychology. Right? Hard work is not only what most people think. The better you become as a trader, the more you want to work on psychology. Right? Ben always said that trading is 80% psychology. Well, in the beginning, that's actually not the case. Right? In the beginning, well, you need a system, you need this, you need that. But the better you become as a trader, well, then psychology becomes 80%, right, of your success. Well, one of my passions is to teach people become better traders and teach people become better humans. That's my passion. That's why I really like doing this, and I like to work with groups. Now, somebody asked about groups, right? Committed trader group. Well, every workshop I do, like I teach Forex once a year. It's always in March, right? And I teach futures once a year in September. So at each of those dates, a group comes together, right? And who is fine with the workshop? Well, trades the systems on his own, but I will as well offer group mentoring. And group mentoring means that there's interaction within the group, obviously. Okay, that's a good question, Atul. How to find a system that resonates with our sense, our style, our purpose, our goals? So how to find a system that fits? Well, if you don't know yet, it would make sense for you to read books, right, about different systems to get an idea. you want to try out this or the other system, like do some window shopping, right? And how do you know when a system fits? Well, when you like the system, right? When you like working with it, when you like trading it, I think that is enough, right? To like something. Okay, a stretch goal. What is a stretch goal? So a stretch goal would be, for example, 15 hours per week consistently, right? That's not very realistic to get there consistently. You will get there, right, for some weeks, but for a good number of weeks, you will not get there. Well, you want to have a goal that you can reach consistently, right? A good goal that you can reach consistently. 2 hours per week gives you more than 100% per year. So that's a great goal, right? Okay, so Nasir is talking about sometimes the system works, sometimes it doesn't work. Well, that's very normal for a system, right? Sometimes because everything is cyclical. The markets are cyclical, systems are cyclical. Well, we talk a lot about market responsiveness. And typically the market is in a normal market responsive environment where the patterns work well, right? A good quality pattern develops a good result. But there are sometimes, maybe 5% of times, the market is extremely strong, right? And you get really good results with very low quality trades. They fulfill the rules, but they're low quality, and you get a huge result. Like that might last for a couple of days. So that's a very strong market responsive environment. Well, in that case, you can actually lower the requirement for your quality you need, right? But in other cases, the market is very weak, meaning you've got a high quality pattern and it doesn't develop follow through. Another high quality pattern doesn't do anything. Well, in these cases, you actually want to slow down, right? And sit on your hands. Well, that's part of your personal trading game. You're not forced to trade the market. If you see it's not working well, it's not behaving, right, towards the patterns, well, then you stay out of the market. It's one of the top tasks of trading that Van writes about a lot, right, staying out of the market. But it's not easy when you think that you have to trade the markets right away and trade whatever moves, right? Top task of trading. Okay, deep practice. You can go to my YouTube site, and I've got some information on what deep practice is. It would take too long to talk about that today. Okay, for the workshop, yeah, it doesn't need to be MT4. It can be TradingView or any other software. I don't require specific software for my workshop. Okay, Ines, you recently bought the Beliefs online course. Well, we come later to what's next. Okay, how big are the trader groups? Well, the trader groups are kind of as big as the workshop is. During the last couple of workshops, there were like 35 attendees. Okay, how do I tell if it is intuition or a gambling instinct, right? So a gambling instinct is something that does not deliver good results, right? If it is an inner knowing, basically of what's going to happen next, intuition, well, that's completely different, right? One is gambling, as you say, and the other is kind of an inner knowing. Well, you see it as with a result, right? If you've got a strong instinct to do this or to do that, and the result is always the same, right? You did exactly the wrong thing at the exact right time. Well, then it's a gambling instinct, right? Okay, what characteristics should determine if you should do Forex or futures trading, Eric asks. Well, both markets are quite different in their characteristic, and I've written an article on that as well. Forex is kind of the cruise ship. It's slowly and steady, builds nice patterns. So the pattern is very important with Forex. In futures, well, futures is more erratic. It's kind of the speedboat, right, versus the cruise ship. Futures, we trade strong trends and test bars, big bars. In Forex, we trade patterns and small bars within a trend. Okay, Bill asked about how do I define quality, a quality pattern, right? Well, these are visual quality systems, so visual pattern recognition systems. Well, we have a trend, we look at the charts, right? We have a trend. It fulfills the trend rule. Well, is it a strong trend or a weak trend? Well, if it's a strong trend, well, one quality point up. If the consolidation, we're looking for system one for several swing touches. If it's only 3 swing touches, well, that's okay, fulfills the rules. Well, if it's 7 or 8 swing touches, well, that's even better, higher quality, another quality point up. Right? So you always have positives and negatives with a trade. On my YouTube page, I've got a couple of trader chat interviews, Anis, where you find these things, the difficulties, experiences, challenges, etc. Okay, Sarah just posted the playlist link for deep practice. Okay, Prashant is asking how to maintain a mental state, a good mental state when P and L, like profits and losses, go up and down. Well, you don't look at profit and losses. That's the very first thing. You look at R's, right? Very first thing. And you look at, well, what is important? You trade well. When you flawlessly execute your systems, this is when you trade well. You don't trade well when your profit is up, because you might have broken all your rules, right? And made a big profit. Well, that's not very good trading, right? That's a recipe for disaster. If you traded well, you should have made a profit, right? But you could have made a loss for the week trading well. Well, that's absolutely fine. You pat yourself on the back. You did well. Okay. Well, you don't build psychology. You basically unbuild the non-useful beliefs you hold, the toxic emotional waste you carry around with you, right? When you look under your carpet, or when you always put the waste under your carpet, well, that's what we do, right? When we work in psychology, we lift the carpet, we plug some of the waste out and process it, let it go, right? And it's very nice to do that, actually. It's not easy, but it's very nice. Okay, Vincent has gone through the Forex e-course. The Forex e-course is well, it's only system one, right? And the workshop I teach 3 systems. So the e-course is only system one, and it only is like 1/2 of what is taught in the workshop. So it gives you a good idea, right? The e-course, but in the workshop there's more. Can deep practice help with a quicker increase in position size? Well, the first goal is to get consistent, and then the next thing is to start with a very small position size, right? And then the goal is to increase that position size. And well, deep practice is the fastest way to get successful. Deep practice is about slowing down, right? In order to speed up in the end. Okay, so these are a lot of questions. Well, let's continue. We're going to look at some more things. Well, let's look at the pound of this S2 trade, like system 2 trade short. I have posted, right? Just as a quick reminder, that was a trade on a 5-minute, right, going short. That was from Thursday, I believe, or Wednesday, Thursday. And we had basically said, well, that's only a quick move down, right, in an overall uptrend. These are consecutive time frames. And this is a target area, right? This is a target area. And we said, well, we've got a window of opportunity now for price to come down here to meet with the prior price action. And well, that quickly developed into a 2-hour. I couldn't trade a lot on that week, so that's what I took, and I achieved my weekly R goal. One good trade per week is enough. Right? But let's have a look what developed out of it. This is the 5-minute trade, right here, shown on the 60-minute chart. This was the move. I've taken that home, right? That was a 2-hour. Well, it actually developed. It went sideways. And then it dropped, right? Well, where did it drop into? Well, it dropped into the target area, right? Which is prior price support, and it bounced off. So it actually did what we thought it would, right? So a quick drop and then a quick rebound. And whenever we have a momentum move, right? So a rebound like this here, well, that's a momentum move. And we can see that move here, right? And out of that move today on Monday, well, we saw this pattern emerge. Well, that's an S1 pattern. And that has developed during the Asian Pacific session, right? Because I get a lot of questions as well. Hey, I'm living in Asia Pacific. It's not good for trading Forex. Well, that's bullshit, right? We see it here. That's from today. That's an S1 pattern that formed, well, it started to form on Friday, and it actually completed on Monday, right? And that's on the Asian session. Well, entry was on the European session. When the European session started, well, Americans were sleeping, right, during that time. Well, it really doesn't matter. Because what came later is, well, an S2 pattern, one time frame low on a 5-minute. That has triggered during the US and European session. Well, what is the target? Well, the target is the big number up here. And this is the stop run level, right? This is the next target. So overall, we're in a bullish environment. So I prefer to trade with the higher time frames, right? This is basically, well, what story do the charts tell? And this chart tells me long, right? This tells me long. We've just met here some resistance at the 200. We saw this drop, right? And now we're back at the 200. If it can break away from the 200, well, it will move to this level, right? Most probably. It's a target. It's a magnet level. Well, let's see how it's developed till now. And let's just share. Let's just look at TradeStation, what it did.
And Gabriel, I just wanted to say one thing. We've got so many helpful links today that I will compile all of those and send them out with the recording. So there's no need to try to copy them all right now. I'll send them out to you.
Right. Everybody can see my charting software, right? Okay. All right. So this is the S1 pattern on a 15-minute from today. This is the S2. Well, the S2 is basically this one, right? And well, it developed nicely, right? We see a nice move higher. Well, this one has easily gone beyond the 4R level. This one has easily gone beyond the 4R level. And where did it go into? Well, it goes into the magnet level, right? And this is a stop run level as well. So the moment it broke this wick high, well, this opens the opportunity for a rush, right? And we can see how price accelerates, goes vertical, and you can observe that chart. I mean, if this is over, right, it might go a little bit higher, and then we see a big pullback, right? Probably a pullback back into this area. So that's what we call a stop run move, right? That's a stop run level, and that's a stop run move. If we find bullish patterns, system 1 or system 2, 15-minute chart, this is on a 5-minute chart, well, that's what we capitalize on, right? and then apply the Excel algorithm. So trading Forex, you can go both ways, right? So last week, for example, here was an S2 short on a 5-minute, and well, this week is a 15-minute long and a 5-minute long. That's a pattern after pattern, and that's what we call building a pyramid.